Hi guys, I'm Jesse at Strobepro.com, and today I'm going to be showing you the new Godox TL60 tube light. This is an RGB light. It also does normal daylight balance colors as well. It's got built-in filters that you can do from Lee and Rosco, special effects. This thing is absolutely feature-packed. Let's take a closer look what it's all about. Every light is going to come with a carrying case here. This is the single one. You've got a nice carrying strap if you want to throw it over your shoulder. The double and the quad light are going to be bigger, obviously. But let's open this up. It wraps around the end there, and then you have a full-length zipper. Inside, we've got a couple things, which number one is going to be our tube light. This is 29.5 inches long, which is a really nice length for lighting up a lot of different scenes. And then inside we actually have an internal zipper there where we're going to get a couple more things. So we have the power cable extension, and then the other half of that would be the power block. Now I should just mention, in the other kits you are going to get a power block holder. It's just a little Velcro piece that helps contain some of the cable management there. And you're also going to get, in the single, we have our bracket to mount the light, and we have a couple of more things. So we're going to get two steel cables, and then we're actually going to get, which looks like this internet cable, which we would use for a DMX connection. Now in the other 2 and 4 light kits, you're going to get more cable retainers, more of the internet cables there. So you can check out what each kit includes on the website. One of the nice things about the TL60 is that it has an internal lithium battery. So that just means that we can flip it on without any cables attached, and we're ready to shoot right away with it. Another nice thing is that the included power block, you can actually run this and power it at the same time as well as charge it at the same time. And you've got like well over 20 feet here to be able to run this up into a ceiling or wherever you need to reach it. To charge that up, just right in the end here, you're going to see the little cable attachment. So all you would do, plug in there, and then the power block has an end that you would plug in here and then go into the wall. So really easy to charge it, and on a full charge, it's lasting about 2.5 hours. So you've got a ton of time to run on the battery if needed. So with the power switch on one end, if we go to the other end, you're going to see these two internet connections here, RG45s, and these are for DMX. So with your cable, we have an input and an output. So if you were using a DMX controller, you would just plug into here, run into the next light, and you can daisy chain them like that. So we will have a separate video on how to do DMX, but this light is capable, which is the main thing. The next thing are these little cables. You might be wondering how to use these. These are just safety cables that you can run multiple lights together if you want. You have holes on the end on each side. So you can run this cable through there to lock them in. They connect together, and it's just a safety. And on the end, it's got a little spin lock. You would just go together like that, and then twist them in, and they're going to lock in place. So you can use that if you're not connecting multiple lights, to hang it from somewhere if you want, or again, just a safety precaution to throw on there just so someone doesn't bump your light and have it fall down. Okay guys, the last piece is the mounting bracket. Godox includes this plastic bracket here. So it's just going to snap onto the back of the light. We've got a little lever lock, flip forward, and it's going to lock in place. Now, if you happen to have a Strobepro stand, you have a removable spigot. So we're going to take the 1/4 inch here, thread it into one of those, and then we are good to mount it. So with Strobepro stands, we can mount on the side or on the top. So I can mount there, which would be fine, but a lot of us are going to want to go to the horizontal position. And because of the extra weight of that, what happens, it's actually quite easy for that to unspin or loosen the thread like that. So a better option I would recommend is investing in one of our Strobepro super clamps. And I'll just pop this off and show you how to do that. So we'll just unthread that. With our super clamp, basically, I'll just pop the spigot. It actually comes with an included spigot as well. And now I can just take this TL60 light and clamp it in. This is a full metal bracket, so you don't have to worry about this loosening off or breaking or anything. We can adjust it wherever you want. Then I can put that in vertically, rotate the stand, no problem there. Or we can go horizontally as well and just adjust the light from there. So tighten it down, loosen that, and there we go. If you're worried about the super clamp blocking the front of the light, it's very minimal there. I don't think you're going to have to worry about that. Just rotate the light to have that in the maximum position. The nice thing about the super clamp, I can slide that right to the end if I want to get it out of the way. And it's no problem. The super clamp is going to take the weight of that light just like that. We're going to get into the menu system here, and there's a lot of features in here packed into a small little interface. And then after that, we're going to take a look at the app on how to control that even easier. So the MOD button here is our mode. So we can cycle through it. Right now we're in CCT, which is our color temperature that we can change. We can flip through. This is our HSI mode, our special effects, and then we're back again here to the start for our color temperature. So if I want to change that color temperature, I'm just going to come up here to the plus and minus. So I can go hold that down if I want to go fast, all the way up to 6,500 degrees Kelvin. So that would be on the cool side. Or if I want to go on the warm side, I'm going to hold that down and I can go all the way down to 2,700 if I want to have it really yellow. Normally, if you're trying to match this to daylight, you're going to be somewhere between 52 and 54. That's a good place to start. If I want to control the intensity of that, I'm just going to hit the dim. And you're going to see it flashing. We're at 100% right now. That's our power level maximum. And we can go down, again holding it, it's going to go faster. We can go all the way down to 1%, which is really cool with this light. It's very precise that way. We'll bring it back up to 100 though. Okay, so we're going to push the mode button again, and now we're in HSI. So just like we did before, we can use the plus and the minus button to control this. So H is going to be your hue, so we can change the color of that, shifting it across the whole spectrum. You literally have unlimited colors that you can adjust this to. So that's going to cap out, again, you just saw it run by there. It will cap out on the top at 360 and go to 0. So you've got the full spectrum. Now I can control the saturation there as well. I'm going to hit my function button, and that's going to switch it down. And again, my plus and minus. So if I want to desaturate that, you don't want it quite so intense, we can easily do that. Flip to another color just by pushing the function button again. Select something else here, green, and let's say I want to bring up the intensity again. I would just hit my function, switch back and forth, really easy, bring that back up to 100%. And again, if I want to control the actual light output, we're on 100 right now, I would just hit dim and control it that way. So this seems confusing kind of right now, all these button pushes, but once you play around with it a few times, it's actually quite easy to understand. Okay guys, this little fan right here, this button is our preset gels. So if you push that, you're going to see it come up. It says Rosco and Lee. Those are the two biggest gel makers in the world for lights. And the great thing about this is you don't actually have to use a physical gel. We can go in there and select one that we want, and it's going to digitally apply that, which is really cool. Something you can only do with RGB lights. So what I'm going to do is hit the function to go into Rosco. And now you're going to see a whole bunch of gels listed, and you can use the plus and the minus to kind of scroll through them. Now you might be thinking, okay, well, how do I find which one is the correct color or whatever? So you could actually go into the app, which is a much better option, which we're going to show you here. And you can actually see the name of them and just apply it through the app. Otherwise, you're going to just have to remember, okay, I'm on R16 here, or actually I like R47, for example. So the app is definitely a nicer way to do that. But again, we can control the dimming of it here on any mode, adjust it up or down just by pushing the dim button and then using the plus and the minus button. So I'm going to get back out here by pushing the gel button. And now I'm going to push the, I'm going to push the minus button to go down to Lee, and we can select those. Again, push the function button to enter it, and we can scroll through now all of the Lee filters that are built right into the TL60 here. So again, I do recommend using the app for this function unless you have a couple that you want to remember and can take a note on that you can easily find when you need them. Moving on, we've got our wireless button over here. So if we push that once, that's going to bring up the connection menu on a number of different ways that you can connect this light. So the first spot up here is for our Bluetooth. And so we can either have that on or off. If I push the wireless button again on there, it's going to show on. And if I hit function, it's going to switch down to reset, but I want to hit the minus button here to turn it off. So if for some reason you didn't want that on, you can disconnect it. You're going to need that on though to connect to the app because it is done with Bluetooth. So I'm going to turn that back on. And if I wanted to, I would again just hit the function button. I can hit reset. So if you're trying to connect to the app and you're having an issue, that's where you would go to reset. So we'll back out again and scroll down here. And this is 2.4. And what we can do in there is we can turn our channel, group, and our ID on or off. Now this is if you want to use the controlled or the sold separately controller with this. So you would just go in, set your channel, and again, you can just use your plus and minus to scroll through your channels there, hit your function to scroll down, change your group, and then your ID as well. So that's if you wanted to purchase that optional controller. Now we'll back out again, and we have a third option there, which is DMX. So if you happen to have a DMX control board, this light is DMX controllable. There's two ports right in the end here, a 1 and a 2 connection. So you would just plug a Cat6 internet cable into there. And if I enter this, I'm just going to hit the wireless button again. So we can add different lights, so we can tell it to follow it if we want to, or there's other options in here. If I hit function and the plus and minus, we can have that light lead. So if you're chaining them up, you would connect them, 4 or 5 lights if you wanted to in a daisy chain. You can set this to be the first light or lead or follow after that light if you want. And yeah, so there's more information on connecting to DMX, but we can push the wireless button and get out of there. And there you have the control options on how to connect the TL60. So if we push the mode button again here, we're going to go into our special effects. And currently there are 14 that are built in right now. This can change with different firmware updates. And I would again recommend either using the app for this, or if you want to find out exactly what the name of each one is, you can download the manual and they are listed there. So the first one here, I'm just going to go through them quickly and just show you kind of how to do this. This is a cycle of all the RGB colors here. So it's just going to select random colors and kind of flash them through. Now you might notice right beside it there, you've kind of got a Roman numeral, and that's the speed setting for it. So what you can do is hit the function button here, and we can slow it down. So 1 is going to be the slowest cycle through, 2, and then you would go to 3. So just keep that in mind. Every one of these is going to have at least 1 or 2 speed settings. They don't all actually have 3. So going to the next one, this is just a flash. Going here, this is a laser beam, so that one might be cool if you wanted to speed that up or anything. Function, give yourself a seizure. Actually, be careful about that. You probably could in certain situations. The fourth one here is lightning, so it's replicating lightning. Going on to a broken bulb here. So that can be kind of cool if you're trying to do some, creative effects on a scene. Going from there, we've got TV. That's to replicate TV flickering on and off like in a window. Number 7 here is candle. That can be kind of cool to set in like the corner of a room where it's going to replicate candlelight. The next one here is a fire. So it's supposed to replicate like a bonfire going on. And again, you can play around with the speed settings if you want. You can also, in any of these, hit the dim button and control the brightness of the light as well in there. So let's hit the dim to lock that in. Going past there to number 9, we have fireworks. That one's kind of cool. We have a police car, fire truck, ambulance, and then this last one, or the second last one here, is music. So this actually has a microphone on it, and it's picking up that I'm talking right now. So if you were to play a song, it's going to pick up and follow that and flash different RGB colors and go through there. So you can see if I'm quiet, it completely stops and then starts on again. So that one's actually pretty useful if you're doing like a music video or something, you want a cool effect for that. And then the last one is actually an SOS. So I don't know, maybe if you break down and you've got your lights with you, you can use that. So there's all your different special effects. And again, these can change when the firmware is updated, but as of right now, there are 14 included in there, which can also be controlled by the app. Okay guys, here we go in the app. So you're going to want to go and download this from the App Store for iPhone or the Google Play Store for Android. And it's called the Godox Lite app. There's a couple in there. Just make sure that you download the right one. Once we open that up, actually before that, you want to make sure you turn your Bluetooth on because that's how we're going to connect to our lights. And we're going to open it up. You're going to see Demo Studio. Godox just puts that in there. There's no way to get rid of it. We're not actually going to be using that at all. And up in the top left, that little circle is just my assistive touch, so you can see where I'm pointing. What I'm going to want to do actually is go into, let's just go back there for a second, click the plus button. We're going to add a new studio here. So you can call this whatever you want. We'll just call it our test studio. We can save that. And now you can see test pop up. Now if I click that, what I need to do is add some groups and some lights. So if I go down to the left here, click add, and I'm going to click groups. And let's just call this, we're going to get rid of that, and I would just call it group A. So if you're familiar with using groups on your strobes, then you can just set it up the same way. Let's add another one. We'll just call that one group B. We could also call it like key light and fill light if we wanted. Whatever you want, that's no problem. We can do that. Okay guys, so we've got our test studio there. We have group A and B, and now our lights have come in here. So that 3828 is our TL60, and then I've got a SZ150R turned on there. Now, what we can do, I can turn them on and off. You can see them going on and off in the background there. But what I want to do is add, let's say, the TL60 to my group A. So I'm going to click down here actually on my add button, and I'm going to go up to my group A, and I have to hold on it, and that is very counterintuitive. I don't know why Godox is doing it that way. If you click add here, you're not going to see your device list or anything, so it's really annoying. But we're actually holding right here on the A, and let me just turn on the pointer so you can actually see that pointer's on there. And again, just hold A, and then what we can do is click add. So I'm going to select this light, confirm it, and we're good to go on that one. And now I want to add on a group B. I'm going to add the other light. I'm going to click add down here and select the SZ150. Now if I go back, you can see the lights are gone. So our list of available lights have been assigned to our groups here. So we have our key light as A, which is our TL60. You can see that turning on and off there. And then our B is our SZ150, and you can see that one coming on and off. So it's a little bit counterintuitive the way Godox has that set up. This is the first version of the app. Hopefully they make these add buttons actually add the lights, and you don't have to long press on the different groups to do that. But what you can do if you needed to change that at all, I can again go and hold on that. If I want to remove this light, I just hit remove. And now you can see that that's going to come back. Now we have an extra light available to assign to another group. So I could put it on B or create a new group, whatever you want. But we're going to leave that one back on A, add that in there, confirm it. And now we're ready to go with our A and B groups. Okay guys, so we're going to be using group A here, which is where we have our TL60 set up to. So I'm going to go and click scene control over here, and then I'm going to click mode actually. We're going to go into RGBW and just click that. Right away you're going to see my brightness indicator down on the bottom here, so I can lower that or raise it. I'm just going to keep it at 100% so you guys can see it. From there, I can just select the eyedropper here and move around this chart. So I can select the colors wherever I want, which is really cool. If I want to find color information, I can click the down arrow right at the top here, just beneath that A, and I can see selected color information for where I am on the chart. If I want to control that specifically, I can just select the sliders button, and I can move this around and you can see the color changing. So you can customize a color wherever you want in there. So that's kind of a cool way to do that. So moving on to the next mode, we have HSI, which is actually quite similar. Again, we've got our brightness down here at the bottom, and we can go anywhere on this wheel. So if I stay to the outside, that's going to be the most saturated. So you can see the S there says 100. If I bring it in more towards the middle, that's going to be less saturated, all the way down to 0. If I find the color I want and I want to just control saturation, I could click up on the S there and say, no, I want that to be 100%, confirm it, and you can see the color change there. You can do the same thing with the hue if you have a specific color by clicking that and setting it. So yeah, very similar to the other charts. So let's continue on here to CCT. This is where we're going to often use this as like a key or a fill light if you want like natural looking color. We have the kind of arc here, so I can go from 2500 and this goes all the way over to 8500. Just be aware that this app is used for all the RGB lights. And the TL60 actually only goes up to 6500, so even if you move it past there, it's not going to go. So just depending on the specific light that you're using. Another feature that this light does not have is actually this green magenta shift. So on other lights like the SZ150, if I slide it over, I would be controlling the green tint or the magenta tint. But this TL60, as of right now, does not have that feature. These things can all change again with firmware, but as of today's date, that is not functional on this light. So again, just slide it back and forth, and again, we have our brightness up and down, so really easy to use this feature as well. Moving on, this is a cool new feature that we've got in the app here. So we have Lee and Rosco gel filters. So these are designed to replicate an actual physical gel. So we can go through and click these. I had mentioned before that it's not that easy on the actual physical control of the light. This just makes it much easier. You can see the number which corresponds to the back of the light there. But you can, pick your favorite name and just click them. We can also go through, adjust the hue and saturation on these gels as well. And these are like Lee and Rosco's most popular options. So really cool feature for this light. Again, you can kind of match your lighting to any gel where you would normally need to add physical gels. Now we can do it all digitally. There's also an option for custom, which isn't quite functional yet, but will be updated on the app very soon. Going on now, we go into our special effects mode, which is really cool. I'm going to bring the brightness up so we can see that. This one's just an RGB cycle. But the nice thing that we have on this, that's actually a lot quicker to do than the actual physical buttons on the back, is we can adjust the speed. So we can go speed 1, speed 2, and speed 3 on most of these different special effects. So we have the RGB cycle, flash cycle, laser, lightning, broken bulb. Well, you can see them all there. And I kind of went through them before. I'll just quickly scroll through them. But some of them are kind of cool, like you can simulate fireworks and stuff. Police car. This one's used quite a bit, actually, the music one. So it's got a microphone. Right now it's just picking up my voice. But if I talk loud, it's going to get brighter. And if you talk quieter, obviously it's quieter. And then our SOS emergency. So really cool effects that you can do with that. I'm just going to go back here and just turn it, well, let's turn it on to just a color here so we're not getting all the special effects happening there. The last one here is Color Picker. This is also new and really cool. What you can do is, this is a sample photo in here, but you can actually take a photo just by clicking the camera icon there, or you can select a photo that's already on your camera roll, and you can go in and tap on that photo, and what's going to happen is it's going to try to replicate that color of light so you can easily match your light. So you've got an outdoor scene here, you want to match that tone, and yeah, it's just a really easy way. If I click the color, or just above the color, that little arrow, it's going to give you the specific color information as well, which is really cool. So let's just back out again. We're going to go back into our device list here. And one of the cool things as well that you can do is you can click the share button here. It's going to give you a QR code. You do need an account for this, so if you want to sign up, you can do that. You'll find it in the settings button. So just up top here, you can sign up for the Godox account. The other thing you can do is actually export this studio. So we had called it test. So if you had like a home studio, an office studio, you can save that file. You can see I had one already saved in there. And what it's going to do is then we can import whatever we want. So we'll import the test studio. You just apply it to the studio. So it's a quick and easy way to bring back all the lights and the groups that you had set up before. It just takes a second. Data synchronization finished, and we're ready to go. So again, we've got our A group working right out of the box, and then if we had our secondary light to put onto B, we could do that as well. You see that come in there. And then it's just really easy to control all these different things. And we can flip between the different groups that we want, control brightness. Like, it's really limitless what we can do with this app, and it's only going to get better as more improvements are added from Godox and from users. So check it out. And again, if you have any issues connecting, I had mentioned before, just make sure that you go to the reset, the Bluetooth, and that's going to be really all that we have to do for this app. So there you have it, guys. That has been an in-depth overview of the Godox TL60 tube light. This new RGB light is absolutely awesome. It's an affordable light that you can add into your setup to create some really cool effects. Not only does it do RGB, it also does your normal lighting, so you can dial in just a normal daylight color temperature if you want. You can add your special effects. It's battery powered. It's got amazing TLCI numbers. So I think this is really a light that you can add into your kit, and you're not going to regret it. It's fun to play around with, and you're definitely going to be able to find a use for it. So remember, we sell this in a couple different options. We have our single light kit, a double light kit, and a 4-light kit as well. So check them all out at Strobepro.com, and until next time, I'm Jesse.